Well, hello, everybody. This is Scott Roberts, and I've got Kent Marts with me today. Unfortunately, Jerry Hubble was feeling a little under the weather this afternoon. So instead of having the 160th, Open Go-To Community episode, we thought that we would give you some coming attractions of what's coming on today. What's really exciting is that today is the birthday of George Ellery Hale. This is his 153rd orbit around the sun. I think he'd like for me to say it that way because the dude loved solar astronomy, and so it's that's an understatement too, because he. If you had ever visited his place in Pasadena, which was, his private residence, he had things like Egyptian solar god, I think it was the sun god Ra or something like that, that was above his door. It was really cool to visit his place. Have you seen any of that stuff? Did you go out to Pasadena and see the? You haven't
Nope.
been out there yet. No.
Nope. We went out to Palomar to pick up that piece of equipment that donated to Nwa Space, but it was, out there, get it and come back. There was
That's
no
the closest you've been, I guess,
Yeah,
I
right.
suppose, right? So, well, anyhow, Southern California is steeped in astronomical history, and a lot of it has to do with George Ellery Hale. He comes out from Chicago after completing, what was then the Kenwood Observatory. He had the Kenwood Observatory with, I think it was a 12-inch Clark refractor his dad gave him, which at the time was a huge telescope in the United States. But then they go off and George Ellery Hale attends a scientific symposium during, I think, spring break or something. So instead of going out and partying, he goes to a scientific symposium, and he meets Alvin Clark at this symposium. And unbeknownst to him, he learned that Alvin Clark was holding what was at the time the world's largest refractor lens, which was a 40-inch lens. It had not yet been completed. So there were some businessmen, from what I understand, in Santa Monica that wanted to make the biggest refractor in the world, almost like as a business PR type of move. I would have to learn more about their motives for doing this. But anyways, the thing is that the deal doesn't go through. It's not completed. Alvin Clark is holding the bag. Prior to all of this happening, George Ellery Hale's dad said, well, we need to make a more proper observatory complex, and it's going to need a bigger telescope than your 12-inch, so we need to look down the road, into the future. His dad didn't expect that Hale would find the right lens and all of this stuff to come about so quickly. So, but it does all come together, and they find someone that would build the telescope and foot the bill for that, and that was Charles Yerkes. Charles Yerkes, from what I understand, was not a very liked individual in Chicago, kind of a ruthless businessman. And but he's trying to get this elevated train built that Chicago is so famous for, called the L now. And he's puts up like a few $100,000, I think, to get the observatory built or to get the telescope built. But someone slips and says that Charles Yerkes not building the telescope, that he's building the whole observatory. Okay. And when this gets back, when Charles Yerkes sees this in the newspaper, he's furious. Okay. And, but at the same time, upon the newspaper coming out, he's getting telegrams pouring in, letters pouring in saying, gosh, you're such a great visionary guy. You know, what other great ideas do you got? Okay. Well, gosh, let me think about that for a minute. I've got the L idea. Okay. So the elevated train. And so that's how Charles Yerkes gets back in the good graces of society and gets his train built, and I'm sure many other enterprises. When you visit Yerkes Observatory, you will see, and this is the first of George Ellery Hale's world's largest telescopes. He built 4 of them in succession, something that will probably never be repeated by any individual. So he builds the 40-inch at Yerkes. He goes on and builds the 60-inch at Mount Wilson, the 100-inch at Mount Wilson, and then they start work on the 200-inch. Sadly, George Ellery Hale dies before he sees it completed. Some fascinating stories. And when you get a chance to visit Yerkes, and I hope you all do, you're going to see there's amazing kind of sculptures and buttresses and stuff like that all over the building. And some of them look like this really kind of evil, devilish looking guy. And the face of it is Charles Yerkes, and he's all over the building.
And he had a really big prominent nose, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
you saw it, right?
Yeah,
When you went to Starlight Festival. So
yeah. And they had somebody go and break off all the noses of
it was a bee. It was a
It was a bee. Okay, it was a
on
bee.
his nose. Yeah, and they had someone go and chip off the bee off of all. And I don't know what the bee meant, but it does mean something.
Yeah, it was. We'll find out. We'll ask Dan, and he'll
Dan
know.
Taylor.
Yeah, we'll ask Dan and find out what that is, and get back with. That'll be something for the next show. But it's interesting that they went by and had to break off every one of these ornate pieces. And I guarantee you there's one somewhere on the building that's not broken off. There has to be.
Probably.
You know?
Yeah. And Conrad Sanders wants to know, Scott, any good deals on used refractors? They pop up, Conrad, from time to time. We put them up on our website. Almost as fast as we put them up, they take them down because they sell really, really quick. So that's the deal on them. They are, offered at a lower price, of course, than a new one, but they're full warranty on them. So you just have to keep watching. Wade Prunty says, depicted on the swollen nose of each caricature was a stinging bee, possibly insinuating that the University of Chicago's benefactor was being stung for his money. However, Hale thought that the image too grotesque and requested the insects removed soon after the observatory opened. Thank you, Wade. In fact, I think that is exactly the correct answer. So, anyways, that's just one of a million stories about Yerkes. And when you go and visit the facility, they're still doing all kinds of construction. So it's not someplace you can go and partake in right now. But, I think probably in a few more months, they're going to open their doors and start doing the tours and all the rest of it. So, and I hope that the Explorer Alliance can arrange a program so that we go out there and have you look through the historic 40-inch scope, So what is really a proud moment for me is that a lot of our optics have been used on George Ellery Hale's telescopes. They for their visual program that Dan Kaler ran, he used exclusively Explorer scientific eyepieces on the 40-inch. And it was amazing to look at the, things like the Dumbbell Nebula and the Ring Nebula and planets and all kinds of stuff through that great telescope. And the 40-inch, by the way, is still the world's largest refractor. So that moniker of world's largest still exists because no one built a bigger refractor that was usable. There was a horizontal refractor, I think, that was bigger, but didn't really work. So the problem is that the glass sags. The weight of the refractor lens sags on its own weight, being held by the edges. So you can't keep the figure, which is a problem.
Right. Glass is a liquid. Technically it's a liquid and it's flowing. Right.
So, and then, and that's what led to building the 60-inch. And that was a mirrored telescope. And that was ground and polished by George Ritchie. That is an amazing instrument. They've used, we produced an eyepiece for them, the 30 millimeter 100 degree 3-inch eyepiece that they use on it. And we had it laser engraved with Mount Wilson logo on it and everything. And they were using that as part of their visual observation program. They use other eyepieces as well. But it was fun to look through that historic telescope that Harlow Shapley used to discover that that our sun did not occupy a special place in our galaxy. Now, if you guys watch our shows, Dr. Daniel Barth talked a lot about the fact that if you think that anything is special about our our solar system, our star, our galaxy, then you're probably wrong. Okay, because our star is quite common. We're about 2/3 out from the center of the galaxy. And there was a lot of thinking that maybe we were the center of the galaxy. It used to be we were the center of the universe. Now we're not either of those. And then it used to be, well, we're the only star that has planets around it, right? Well, that's been disproven. And, and then we thought, well, maybe we're the only Earth-like planet. And that has probably been also being disproven as well. So, I guess the last holdout is there life that we can detect on any of these other exoplanets. So, and we'll, I don't know if we'll find that out in our lifetimes, but, me, like I would say most other astronomers, we believe there's life all over the universe, so, but yeah, so that's the reason why I'm kind of concentrating on Yerkes is that today on the Global Star Party, this is the 153rd birthday of George Ellery Hale, and it happens to also be the birthday, and this is a funny story, okay, but the new executive director of Yerkes Observatory that was reappointed, that was appointed recently by the Yerkes Future Foundation, which saved the telescope, Mr. Dennis Coy, it ends up that it's his birthday today. And neither Diana Coleman, who is the founder of the Yerkes Future Foundation, or I guess Dennis Coy himself did not make that connection. Okay, so he very deservedly has that position, being born on the same day. So, but Global Star Party has a great lineup of people, and let me kind of cover that with you. We will start with, of course, David Levy, who I was just on the phone with, talking about his new children's book that he's trying to get published. He will do his poetry and welcome to the 52nd Global Star Party. Then it's John Briggs and Davis Sobel. Davis Sobel is a science writer and wrote some great books like Galileo's Daughter, a book called Longitude. I think Longitude is being made into a movie or has been made into a movie. She is world famous for her science writing and has co-authored books, several books, one of them with Frank Drake, who came up with the Drake equation of life elsewhere in the universe. So there's a tie-in there. Maynard Pittendray he is the executive secretary of the Astronomical League. It'll be his first time on. It'll also be David's first time on the Global Star Party. But he'll read off the Astronomical League's questions and answers and the new questions for door prizes for this event. Dennis Coy, who I was just talking about, will come on. Possibly Diana Coleman if she can get away. She's been in back-to-back meetings with people taking care of Yerkes Observatory. So we'll see if she comes on as well. Then it's Stella Kafka from the AAVSO, and she promises to have something special to announce at this Star Party, which is very cool, which I think has a lot, something special with the AAVSO, obviously. Kareem Jafar will be on the program as well, and then Molly Wakeling with Astronomolly's Universe. Cesar Brolo will be on doing live imaging from his rooftop down in Argentina. Connell Richards, who has been on before, who will be talking about the Leviathan of Parsonstown. Now, the Leviathan of Parsonstown was the Earl of Ross built a 72-inch giant monster telescope that was, for a time, the world's largest telescope. This telescope apparently could only move up and down and maybe a little bit side to side, but mostly up and down. Okay, so you had to let objects, drift into the field of view while you observe through the telescope. So it'll be interesting to learn about that. That is, if you ever get out there to where the Leviathan Observatory is, you can go and check it out. And I think they even have star parties there. Deepti Gautam from Nepal will be on. Maxi Falaris, the genius who ripped his smartphone apart and started taking great smartphone astrophotography. John Johnson's going to give us an update on the Nebraska Star Party, which is cool. Adrian Bradley will be on. We'll have a 5-minute break after that, and Adrian Bradley will be on, Pekka Hautala, and Cameron Gillis. So it should be a really great Star Party, probably lasting until...
Yeah, it's going to last until
1
midnight.
o'clock in the morning or something. So
I think it's going to last until 1 o'clock in the morning, most assuredly, and maybe a wee bit later.
Maybe a wee bit later. So, but it will be a great Star Party. So, if you're, we hope that you do come and watch that program. But what else is going on, Kent? We talked about the Nebraska Star Party a little bit.
Well, I'm starting to, feel my oats a little bit, and I'm going to be doing a couple of trips for astronomy that we're getting planned. Going out to Black Mesa State Park in August, early August, out in the far west panhandle of Oklahoma, and taking Tyler Bowman with me. He's never been with the CSR here. He just started doing astrophotography a few years ago. He's never been under dark skies. He's not a visual guy. And so I'm going to load him up and pull the trailer over, and we're going to do a weekend trip. That'll be an interesting experience to see the look on his face the first time
He's the Milky Way.
Yeah, he sees the Milky Way.
I can't believe Tyler hasn't seen dark skies. With all the great astrophotograhy he's done. So,
and that just shows the state. I mean, humans are adaptable, and people who want to do astrophotography figure out ways to do it from light polluted skies. And he's got neighbors. He lives in a subdivision, and he's got neighbors that leave their outdoor porch lights on all night long. And, he just deals with it as best he can and takes great pictures. But he's really looking forward to going out and seeing what he can do for a couple of nights out in Bortle 1 skies. It'll be a good trip. And planning on going to a mixed music festival in September. It's an event called Stars and Sauce, and the stars is literally astronomy, and it's the astronomy is part of the top billing for this festival here in Northwest Arkansas. And we did one last fall and in the stages of COVID, and nobody got sick, and it was a great time. So we're gonna, go do it again. Tyler and I are gonna go out and do it again. And one of our friends that does VAA, visual assisted astronomy, is planning on going as well. So I'm going this weekend over to the Ozark Mountains, to the Ozark Mountain Folk Center, and I'm gonna take a telescope with me, and I'm also going to take some binoculars and start doing some birding. I've really been, if you haven't seen our birding broadcast on Thursdays,
right?
Dan George is doing a birding broadcast, and we're getting pictures from a couple of people. And if any of you have good pictures of birds from your neighborhood, send them to us, because we'd love to broaden the reach of the birds we use. So, if you're on one of the coasts, or heck, Pekka had a favorite bird that he was talking about, I'd love to feature some of those pictures on our show and talk about those birds. So I'm going to start doing a little bit of birding, and interestingly, recording the sound of the bird is more identifiable than looking at the bird. Although having a description or a picture of the bird.
That.
Yeah, Dan said that last week, that the bird sounds are almost guaranteed. Once you learn them, it's guaranteed identification. Whereas many birds look very, very similar, in the same families, and but their calls are always different. And so it's a method that birders use to, and like astronomers do, we do Messier Marathon, or try to observe all the Herschels or all the whatevers, right?
Right.
Birders set benchmarks of memorizing the calls of 100 birds, and then 200 birds, and 500 birds, and actually identifying birds by calls, and logging when and where they saw them. So I've really been interested in getting back into birding. My dad and mom were birders, and I've got a couple of their bird books where they've written down the dates they saw birds, and those are cool. I've got rid of most of my parents' books and stuff, but that was one that I kept some of my dad's astronomy books, but their bird books are bring up memories of childhood Sunday drives, driving around the hills north of Clarksville, Arkansas, back when Sunday drives were still a thing, and all of us trying to identify birds. Andy, my brother, and I, and mom and dad, and that was part of our Sunday ritual, was go for a Sunday afternoon drive. And
that's cool.
Yeah, that was cool. So those books bring back memories, and I'm glad we started this show, because it's getting me into another aspect of being outdoors. I do hunt and do some fishing, do astronomy, but during the daytime,
an all around guy.
Yeah, too many hobbies, I guess. But and I'm blessed to have two wonderful hobbies that both pay me money: astronomy and umpiring baseball. I'm a blessed person, most assuredly.
Right.
So,
yeah, you were telling me about how many games was it on one day?
I did 12 games this weekend.
Good
6
Lord.
on Saturday and 6 on Sunday.
Right.
And it was hot, and on Sunday it rained all day, and we were on and off turf fields, so we were able to keep playing. And but miserable, being wet, being hot one day and wet the whole next day was great misery. If that's such a thing as great misery, it was great misery.
Yeah, but you love it anyways.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You love it. Here, I'm going to give a shout out for that Stars and Sauce. I'm sharing the screen. This is one of the announcement posters for the event. And I think it's a small, as far as music festivals go, this was kind of a smaller event anyways, right?
Yeah, he's planning about 3,000 to 5,000 people.
Right.
That's what he's planning for.
Yeah.
The last one had, in September, drew 750 people. It was the first one he had done. Mm-hmm. And it was a great success. And we had hundreds of people come over to the telescopes and look through the telescope. And we had the 20-inch truss tube knob out there. a couple other telescopes, and people were just blown away at looking at what we had in the telescope, and some great, wonderful discussions of people. And it's a way to reach new audiences, because these people come knowing they're coming to an astronomy event and a music festival. And part of it is they're either have an interest and do astronomy, or just are interested in it. And we're just reaching more people. It's a unique way to reach out and introduce people to the night sky. And it's Bortle 2.5 to Bortle 3. So it's not, bad skies at all by any stretch.
Yeah.
And
it's just gonna be fun.
It's going to be a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you're invited, Scott. You can most assuredly, since you're the name sponsor, but I suspect they might let you in for free.
Maybe. Yeah.
Might let you, if you're comfortable going, they might let you in for free.
That's right. But I don't have a beard or a mustache or anything, though. I noticed a lot of these guys have beards. So
and long hair, and Josh doesn't. I mean, he's he's an engineer.
A beard. Yeah.
Does he have a beard now? I can't remember.
Didn't he have a beard? I think he had a beard.
Maybe, but he's an engineer. I think he's a civil engineer, and just wanted to.
He's a very nice guy. Yeah.
Wanted to have music festivals, and he started these music festivals. And if they work out, it's going to be a new venue of reaching new people for astronomy, and it'll be interesting. So, should we talk about our secret plans for the eclipse at all?
Well, we can talk about what we're trying to do. I would say in general, without overstepping our bounds at all, because we have not confirmed that the site, but we are going to do some site scouting here in mid-July. We'll be flying down to Texas, in Hill Country is where we're going. And the idea, there's a possible location that we could go to where actually both the 2023 annular eclipse and the 2024 total eclipse would pass in the same region. If it all works out, and I'm not, there's lots of working pieces here that we still have to get figured out, okay? But if it does all work out, this will be the deal. It will be like a series of 3 star parties. The first one would happen probably sometime like April 2022, okay? You would go to the site with us.
23, April 23.
No, 22. 22, okay. Because 23, you would go there for an actual eclipse. But the 22 event, you go there to explore the site, set up your telescope, see where the sun rises, see where it sets. Now the site that we're looking at is Bortle what?
2. Bortle
okay.
2. Let me verify that, but it's pretty stinking dark.
Anyways.
Yeah, there's Bortle 1 very close.
Yeah. So on the border, as I recall, it's on the border between Bortle 1 and Bortle 2. It is a dry camp scenario. So, you would be doing something like bringing in an RV or tent camping, that kind of thing. The city of San Antonio is not terribly far away, about 2 or 3 hour drive, something like that from San Antonio.
It's Bortle 2 and within... Yeah, it's Bortle 2 and within, it's Bortle 2. It's low Bortle 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'll be good skies for most people. People, Bortle 2 will be the darkest. They'll be shocked at, have never seen dark skies. They'll never see it. So the cool part about it is it's in the area where both eclipses cross, the annular eclipse in 2023 and the total eclipse in 2024 both go over this spot.
Right.
And it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be dry camping. So you're going to have the ability to tent camp. But what our plan is you come to the first one, and you reserve. It's going like going to a trade show where you get booth 112. 112 is going to be your booth, and you know how much room you need. And
right now, that's if you buy all three.
Right.
All three star parties. Okay. You probably what we're thinking of is that you could, if you just want to look, okay, you haven't really confirmed where you're going to go. Okay. You can come in and do that and just buy admission and spend one star party with us. The other two events, the 2023 and 2024 event, those would probably be a pair of events that you would, buy at once. We still those are other aspects we still have to work out. But it is a really good idea if you're going to go do an eclipse that you scout the site location. Okay, and that's a lot of serious eclipse chasers do this. They typically try to go at the time of year to the location. They just want to see what it's all going to be like, So we could choose the exact day in April that the total eclipse would happen, which was April 9th or something? Is
something like that.
It's kind of earlier in April. In 2022, that's not during the dark of the moon, and we'd like to show you how dark it's going to be. So.
Right. The cool thing about it is it's April the 8th, 2024. The cool thing about it is this is going to be an eclipse party, but you can't have any newer moon than during an eclipse. So on both sides,
that's right.
On both sides of the eclipse, we're going to have especially moonless nights. And so we're going to have traditional star party.
Yeah.
In addition to the eclipse.
You're still going to be set up with all your gear.
You're still going to be in low Bortle 2 skies, especially looking to the north and northwest. Right. Yeah.
So this would be very similar. The camping situation would be very similar. I mean, if you've been to any other big star parties, I think that the one in Colorado and the one in California, the Golden State Star Party, that's kind of dry camping. But we will be looking at porta potties and portable showers and these kinds of things too. We have to see if the facilities are, the infrastructure is there, which I think it will be because San Antonio is not, as I said, not too far away. Weather prospects look good for this region of the country during those eclipses, although that's not a guarantee. So I can't really think of a much better spot to be in except maybe going all the way down into Mexico.
The farther south you go, the better chance, both in April and October, the better chance you have of seeing both the eclipse, especially the total eclipse, which comes up out of Mexico running northeast and goes up through the northeastern United States. But the farther north you go, the cloudier it gets and the better, more chance of clouds, which is not to say that Texas may be clouded out and Ohio or wherever is wide open, because the center line crosses less than down on Interstate 40, an hour and a half from here is the center line. We're going to be at 99% here, 98%. It's going to be crazy. But I lived in Arkansas my whole life, and I know what April looks like for the annular or for the total, and the ditto for October. That's why I'm planning on going down to Texas, and that's where this whole genesis of this star party started up.
Yeah, yeah. So we're excited about the near future and the years to come here. So it should be an incredible experience after incredible experience. We also have the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party.
Hang on, Scott, just a second. Now, sure. Everything we've talked about is secret, so don't tell anybody.
It's just for you guys. The Arizona Dark Sky Star Party, which will probably happen in September or October of next year. And then we have the Mount Wilson 60-inch Star Party, which would happen either the September or October. So we're still finalizing those dates. But and then if we can pull off Yerkes Observatory too, we will. We will also be at the Winter Star Party, which happens next year, I think in February. And then we've got Northeast Astronomy Forum, which will happen first part of next year as well. So, things are opening up. It's been a situation where COVID has kept us kind of, in some sort of hibernation. We've kept the flame alive with global star parties, and people still have been able to share their experiences and their fun, and their knowledge with people everywhere. But there's nothing like being at star parties in person. But that doesn't mean that we will stop doing global star parties. We will continue to do them. So. But they're going to be intermingled with other things that we're doing. So,
but we've talked about doing virtual star parties from star parties.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Figuring out ways to do that.
Right. So satellite internet is a possibility. Possibly even Starlink. So if the bandwidth is good enough, that may be something that we do. I also failed to mention, too, there is an event called Starmus, which is coming up, and I think that's also in September. And Starmus will be in Yerevan, Armenia, and that will have major rock stars there. Major astrophysicists will be there. There'll be a huge for the public star party in Yerevan, and apparently a free concert will be given in the city square of Yerevan as well. Guys like Brian May and Peter Gabriel and other people like that have been at past Starmus events, and I'm pretty certain, since Brian May, I think he's on the board of directors, will be at this particular Starmus. So be really, really interesting, and they've agreed to let me broadcast from there as well. So that'll be very cool.
In Brian May in a fairly famous band?
Yeah,
his guitarist in Queen?
The guitarist, Queen, famous maybe? Band.
Queen? Is it Queen?
Yeah.
Queen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And apparently Queen still performs. So
with Lambert. Adam Lambert is the lead singer.
Right. Yeah. And I watched a YouTube performance of those guys, and Brian May is not diminished in performance ability at all. In fact, maybe he's better. It seems like a lot of guitarists get better with age, because their playing becomes more driven, more complex, and they can take songs that they've played a zillion times and in live performance make them even better. So
customize it for the moment.
Yeah, and he loves astronomy. What better kind of guy is that? So that's great.
He has an astrophysicist degree. Right?
For what I understand, yes. And if I get lucky, I get to meet him and interview him and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. And I think it's a lot. It's not everything that we're doing. We talk about new products that we're developing as we can talk about them on the air. We certainly try to share everything that we can. The next issue of Skies Up magazine is being put together now, and the theme of Skies Up is Saturn. So if you have great images of Saturn, you're going to want to send those in to us. You can send them to Explore Alliance at explorescientific.com. The issue will come out probably within the next 3 or 4 weeks, I would think, something like that. So
looking at Brian May, he was awarded a PhD in astrophysics from Imperial College London for work he started in 1971 and completed in 2007.
Wow. Okay. So I think he was a little busy between 71 and 2007, but
yep. Interesting.
Right.
Yep. The stories of these guys are just amazing. Yeah.
Yes. So it's not the first time somebody interested in music was interested in astronomy. So, um, there was the music of the spheres. I think Herschel was very keen on music. So anyhow, we hope that you guys tune in tonight. There'll be, we'll log on and start broadcasting about 15 minutes before the show starts, which starts at 8 o'clock Central, 0100 for all the you guys out there that use universal time clocks out there. So, and it should be great. And help us celebrate George Elliott Hale's birthday. And peace out.
Gonna be fun.
All right. Anything else you want to add there, Kent?
No, send me your bird pictures. If you've got bird pictures, then we need high quality bird pictures. I mean, I've taken some iPhone bird pictures of a robin nest I'm monitoring. I got some on Thursday. I'll have the song of the robin, the mama robin. Really not happy with my presence. I keep thinking she's going to get used to me of going and taking pictures of her family every morning. But it's amazing the change the birds went from Friday till Monday. They went from being fuzzy little things to actually having feathers that look like feathers. So it's going to be every morning I'm taking a picture of this bird nest. So of 3 baby robins, and I'm going to do it until they fledge. It'll be an interesting journey to follow this family to when they fledge and fly off into their lives.
Right.
So, yep.
Yeah. Let's see. So we have, let's recognize who came on with us today. First on was Martin Eastburn. Richard Grace is on. Wade Prunty.
Hey, Scott, do you know what platforms they're on? Can you tell that?
Yeah, I can. To a degree.
Yeah.
We have, let's see, Martin Eastburn on YouTube. Okay. Richard Grace on Twitch. Wade Prunty is on Twitch. Cameron Gillis on YouTube. Jeff Wise on Twitch. Book Davies on YouTube. Let's see. I like to read some of the comments too. Richard Gray says, chillin' after lawn work. And Wade Prunty, it won't stop raining long enough for us to do lawn work here. Let's see. Beatrice Hines. It's always nice when Beatrice logs on. She says hello to everybody and they all say hello to her. So she thought she was going to be late. And so we're glad that you made it right on time because we were late. And she says, hello, Stargazer. She's on YouTube. A lot of people like YouTube. Let's see. Harold Locke, he's on Facebook. Good day to you from cool and cloudy San Diego. Andrew Corkill on YouTube from Southern California. Yeah. Hi again, guys. Pekka, he's on Facebook. Nice done. Hello, everyone from sunsetting Stockholm. And Mike Wiesner, the current issue of Astronomy Technology Today magazine mentions my autobiography, Finding My Way to the Stars. That's great. That's great. Beatrice Hines. Hi, Scott. I don't mind. You're late. That gives me a chance to be right on time. Yep. And I can see a lot of you guys out there have become friends with each other here at these events, our broadcasts, which is totally cool. Eduardo Simone on Facebook. Good afternoon, everybody. Conrad Sanders on Facebook. He was looking for that used Explore Scientific refractor. And who else?
Wiesner has an interesting comment.
What did he say?
Wayne Parker, owner of Skyshit Observatories, is a member of the Canadian rock band Glass Tiger. They had a number 2 hit. I remembered them. I looked them up. But Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone. It reached number 2 in the U.S. in 1986.
Did not know that. That's really cool. That's really cool. You guys will remember Norman Fulham, also a rocker, builds telescopes. He's performed on our shows a few times. Wade, thanks for that history on Yerkes Observatory. That was cool. And Harold Locke says it's going to be a heavy-duty show tonight. Yes, it is. Oh, Andrew Corkill wants to know if anybody from Explore Scientific will be at Nebraska Star Party. We went back and forth on this, so we are supporting them with some door prizes. We have to think about being at that event. So I know that Kent would like to go. It's just, we were kind of, the mindset was that we were not going to do much, if anything, this year, but it turns out we'll be doing the Stars and Sauce event, and we'll have to, we'll make a formal announcement if we do go. And anything else?
Harold Locke asks, are we going to get any news from NWA Space anytime soon? For those of you who don't know, that's a nonprofit board I'm on. I'm the secretary, working to build a science education center in Northwest Arkansas. Not a science museum or a children's science museum, but a science education center that's geared for middle schoolers and up. We have the historic Sproul Observatory, Sproul Telescope from Swarthmore College. It is a 24-inch f/18 telescope, which means that it's got a focal length of 36 feet. Great for planetary and lunar, deep sky objects, not so much, but
planetary nebula for sure.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure
globular star clusters.
We're going to look fantastic in this thing, even with light pollution. I think it's going to be good. Yeah. We're in the process of trying to raise, $70 or $80 million, and we are working on the first step of a feasibility study with an organization that did Yerkes, and they've worked on all sorts of other planet science centers around the world, and lend a lot of experience and expertise to what we're doing. And we're fundraising to pay for all of that and get that done, because people who fund these things want feasibility studies and assurances they're going to work.
Oh yeah.
Everybody
long term. They
want sustainability. How are you going to pay for things? What's going to look like in 30 and 50 years? It's everybody likes the idea. Literally every person we talk to is excited about the idea of a science education center in the region. It's unlike many other things. Other places have similar things that we're drawing pieces of the puzzle from. But right now we're in that silent stage of talking to community leaders and, developing plans. We continue to do community festivals and do science demonstrations and really engage with kids. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, they'll stay there while there's other stuff going on at the community event, and they will, the parents will come back and they say, well, okay, I'll be back. And moms specifically have said to me a couple of times, my kid has never done anything for an hour and a half other than play video games and sleep. But they're staying here learning about stuff, and I don't have to make, what is this? I don't have to make them study.
I have to make them do it.
I'm not making them learn, but what is it?
You badger them into it, right?
We're doing stuff in an engaging way that is outside the accepted structure of traditional school systems. Right. And we're able to be goofy and blow stuff up and talk directly to individual kids, and not in big classrooms. And that's the whole goal of this idea, is to foster that love of science and technology. Science, technology, engineering, and math, they're all sciences. Math is a science. Engineering is the science of failure, understanding what's going to cause something to fail and then building it up to the standard you need so it won't fail. And yes, it is rocket science getting people to Mars. But once you get to Mars, it's internet communication specialist. It's a gamer driving the robot. It's geologists and biologists and meteorologists doing all the study. Mm-hmm. And so it is rocket science to get you there. But once you're there, it's completely different branches of science. And so this is not about astronomy. This is about using space and astronomy to foster people, to encourage people to learn, because kids
to inspire them.
To inspire them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So some nice comments from you guys. Thank you about our events, the virtual star parties, and all of that. We do plan to do them and keep them up. And I agree with Kent. Probably the best scenario of all is for us to actually be at events and broadcast from them. So that will be something we will definitely look into. Let's see. Cameron Gillis. Oh my God, right. Normand is awesome. Check out past global star parties from last year. Normand is a master craftsman of huge telescopes and a talented musician. I think he's making the biggest amateur, if you can call them amateur telescopes. He can make up to 72-inch folded Newtonians that look like they're on like a Dobsonian mount, but they're driven. They can do astrophotography, and they're not so big that you would need a giant observatory for something. I mean, usually something that big, you'd need a humongous observatory.
They're very fast, aren't they?
They're very fast. Yeah.
Right.
And with a step stool, you can go and look into them, okay, which is instead of a tall ladder. Someone was asking about, are we going to talk about the white spot next to the great red spot? If someone brings it up, then yeah, we will talk about it. Let's see. And what else? Well, I just want you guys to all know that we really appreciate you in the audience, and we hope that you tune in tonight. I think that is it.
Bye, everybody.
All right. I got the thumb up that time. So, all right. Take care, you guys. We'll see you in a few hours. Bye-bye.
I think you have my old number, Ross.